You can see the live pictures there. Let's get straight to it. Norway's Tim Robin Lihaug on his way to the ring as we rejoin Matthew Macklin and first Adam Smith.
Thanks, Ed. Yes, here comes the 23-year-old Norwegian Tim Robin Lihaug. It's a massive opportunity to announce himself in this fabulous 12-stone scene, but it's only his 17th ring appearance, just 77 rounds in the bank, but he's won 15 over half by KO and believes, Matt, that this is the chance and stage that he needs, but it will be tough.
Yeah, it is certainly the stage he needs, and it is a massive opportunity for him. Having said that, he hasn't boxed anywhere near this level at all. And even though Arthur Abraham has, had a long, tough career, and he's, I think we'd have to say that he's probably on the slider. He's seen better days. He's still a great fighter. He's still a legend in Germany, and he's an explosive puncher. He's got a real tight defense, physically very strong. And I think this is just going to be a bridge, far too far for Lihaug. I mean, it's an opportunity. He's got nothing to lose, but I don't see him coming out on top in this.
Der König ist in der Max-Schmeling-Halle. Ich rufe die blaue Ecke. King Arthur Abraham!
They still love him, don't they? 50th ring walk for the strong, solid veteran, former two-weight champion, Arthur Abraham. He's deep into his 37th year, and he's without a world title for the first time in years, having had that dreadful trip to Vegas when he was outboxed, outclassed by the hot Mexican Gilberto Ramirez. How much is left in terms of desire, skill set, and, Matthew, in the tank for this popular fight figure?
Yeah, very popular in Germany, but like you say, you'd have to assume there wouldn't be too much left now. He's had a long career, a lot of 12-round fights, a lot of hard fights. And throughout his career, he's never really done anything spectacular, anything that really stand out, but he knows how to win. Very explosive, great jab, big right hand, very tight defense. Fights in bursts, could never fight for 3 minutes a round because he was so big at the weight, but he just knew he knew when to fight and when to rest, and he had it mastered. And he had a very successful career, very long career, a lot of tough fights. And you'd have to assume that he's well on the slide now.
Aus Ungarn. FAA-Delegierte Frau Marion Palatin aus Österreich, technischer Leiter Chris Meyer aus Berlin. Wir kommen zu den Punktrichtern. Giustino Di Giovanni aus Italien. Jörg Milke aus Deutschland sowie Gerhard Siegel aus Österreich. Der Mann im Ring aus Schweden, Michael Hook. Meine Damen und Herren, it's time to fight! Der Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 23 Jahre alt, 1,90 Meter groß, 76 Kilogramm schwer. Seine Kampfbilanz: 16 Kämpfe, 15 Siege, 8 davon durch Knockout. Seine Ecke, seine Trainer Thomas Hansvoll und Trevor Ambrosi. Meine Damen und Herren, aus Norwegen, Tim Robin Lihaug. Sein Gegner in der blauen Ecke ist 36 Jahre alt, 1,75 Meter groß, 76,2 Kilogramm schwer. Seine Kampfbilanz: 49 Kämpfe, 44 Siege, 29 davon durch Knockout. In seiner Ecke der Erfolgstrainer Uli Wegner. Meine Damen und Herren, aus Berlin, King Arthur Abraham. Der Kampf ist angesetzt auf 12 Runden. Die Kämpfer zur Mitte, the fighters to the middle.
You know the rules. Protect yourself all the time. When I say stop and break, no punches. Touch gloves and good luck.
So the return of Arthur Abraham, desperate to restore his pride. 3 months after relinquishing his crown to Gilberto Ramirez. It's a must-win fight, this, against the fairly novice but ambitious Norwegian Tim Robin Lihaug, who has this golden chance, but is he good enough to seize it? The blue trunks for the man from Bergen in Norway on the right of your screen, and the black of the familiar figure who's been around the world scene for so long, Matthew. And how long can he continue after Abraham?
Yeah, it seems like he's been around forever. I mean, I can't remember Arthur Abraham not being on the world scene in the middleweight or super middleweight divisions. But and he was always one of those fighters that just knew how to win. You know, quite basic, but what he did well.
Just knows his way around the ring. As George was saying back in the studio, he's got a stop clock, he's got a watch, he knows every minute of the 3 and when to turn it on and attract the judges tonight. Giustini Di Giovanni, Jorge Milka and Gerhard Siegel, the 3 men watching. Mikhail Hook, the referee in charge. What of Lihaug, who's lost once in 16 fights? He's tall, he's upright, he can be open. And Abraham says he's prepared meticulously, that there is plenty left. But it was a very poor performance on the travels to lose his belt.
Yeah, it was a poor performance, but it was also a good performance by Gilberto Ramirez, who's a really good fighter, you know, big, you know, the fact that Top Rank put in such a bid to get the fight in Las Vegas, it showed you that they were invested in him and they believed in him, and that they think he's a star of the future. And you know, against Abraham, he proved that he is. You know, 6-foot-odd southpaw, very talented. You know, so it was a hard, painful night for Abraham, but he's back in less than 3 months. So, you know, this stage of his career to kind of have that level of hunger, you know, it's surprising really. But we'll see how he goes tonight.
Did look a star of the future, didn't he? Ramirez, the Mexican. And Abraham has never really looked like a star, but he's just got the job done time and time again. It occasionally looks like he'll fall apart, and he had that close one with Paul Smith, but then when the rematch came around, he put Smith more in his place. He wakes up at times, doesn't he?
Yeah, he definitely upped his game the second time round, because I actually thought that Paul was even better in the second time, but you know, Abraham really kind of upped his game, and there were 2 good fights. First one very close.
Big right hand there, chunky thudding shot from Arthur Abraham, who's got power. 29 knockouts in the 44 victories, and he's finding Lihaug a pretty easy target. Wide open, isn't he, the Norwegian?
He is, and Abraham's jabbing to the body as well, which I think I'm wondering, is he looking to set that up for the jab to the body and the right hand over the top? Especially with Lihaug being so upright, I'd say he'll be open for that as the rounds progress.
Uli Wegner, the veteran trainer who has been with Arthur Abraham for so long, all his professional career, said he'd be the first to tell Arthur it was time to retire if he felt he didn't have the desire anymore. They want to be world champion all over again. Can he be? He's 36 now. He's been around a long time, since 2003. Is it a younger, fresher division these days? Certainly at 23, Tim Robin Lihaug has a marvellous chance to really make Abraham think of retirement, if he can get to grips and get some confidence in here. Nothing on paper really merits this chance, but he's been saying the right things. He used to look up to Arthur Abraham. I think he had a poster on his wall when he was a kid and all of that. So it's probably a dream just to be in there, but he's concentrating, he's trying hard, he doesn't overawed.
No, he doesn't, and he's boxing well here. I mean, he really is in a no-lose situation. He's got nothing to lose. He's had, he's very inexperienced, a massive stage against one of the biggest names in certainly European boxing, not world boxing, and he's nothing to lose. He's boxing with confidence here. Good jab, putting nice combinations together, but I wonder if he's able to just having a look, because he's just stalking like he does. His work rate's never the best, but he just picks his moments, and he'll always have 2 or 3 bursts around. And when he does burst, when he does have a burst, it's really explosive. Or he certainly was in his heyday.
Lihaug did box in London in the Haringey Box Cup back in 2011. Had a decent enough amateur career, nothing spectacular. Did go 10 rounds as a pro with Georgi Bereshvili in 2014, but there is a blemish, a big one on the record, when Oscar Arlin took him out in Denmark in April 2013. And if Abraham catches him, and he's normally got a very, very good chin himself, the former 2-weight champion, there could be big problems. And there's that right hand, and again another shot from Abraham. He might just be too powerful as well as far too experienced.
Yeah, he's like a big bear, Abraham. He's like an explosive bear. He stalks, he has the hands high, like we said before, very basic, but does it really well. And when he does explode, he really explodes.
And he can be outboxed, like we saw with Ramirez, with Andre Ward, and also Carl Froch put on a terrific performance, didn't he, behind that jab. Abraham never got into that fight, but if you can't put him in his place, he's a real nuisance.
Yeah, and look at the 3 guys that we just named that did. Carl Froch, massive super middleweight, hell of a fighter. And I think that was Abraham's first fight up at super middle, and Carl boxed absolutely brilliant. Probably Carl Froch's best performance for me in his whole career. He just backed him up and kept him backed up. He bullied the bully, and and then obviously Andre Ward, another special talent. But other than that, he's Abraham. He knows what he's doing. He knows his way around the ring. Paces it perfectly. When he explodes, he really explodes.
So far so good for Arthur Abraham on a scouting mission.
Yeah, he's just being very patient, isn't he? Just having a look, trying to get his jab going, get his distance. Tried the right hand a few times, hasn't landed yet. But his jab's going well, his defence, his hands are, gloves are nice and high, defence good. So far so good.
And again, selling out the big arenas, Arthur Abraham. Been so popular, he has, based here in Berlin, in Germany, Armenian born, real name Avetik Abrahamian, now known as King Arthur. Not quite the king anymore, having lost his world title, but a very, very good super middleweight champion, and an excellent middleweight one as well. Won the IBF crown back in 2005, knocking out Kingsley Aikiki in 5 rounds, made 10 defences before moving up to 12 stone. That's a good fighter, no question about it.
No, he was massive at middleweight. He must have killed himself to make the middleweight. So he's a big super middle, but at middleweight he was an absolute beast. And there were several fights that he pulled out the bag in the last round. And even when he was tight, dead at the weight, he still paced the 12 rounds perfectly. He just knew when to fight, when to rest.
Jermaine Taylor, wasn't it, in the 12th?
Yeah, Jermaine Taylor, what a punch! Knocked him out cold, didn't he? That was in the I think his first fight in the Super 6.
Yeah, really can bang Abraham when he's in the mood.
Corin Gavor, another fight, he was very close in the card, maybe even behind. Pulled it out, knocked Corin Gavor out cold in the last round.
He stopped Wayne Alcott, didn't he, in about 5?
Yeah, that's right, 5 rounds. And Wayne wasn't doing too badly, but like you say, it's almost like he lets you do okay for a bit. He just has a look, walks forward, walks you down, hands high, while he's trying to get his range, get his distance, almost luring you into a false sense of security.
Good jabs there from Abraham. As Lihaug tries to come back with his own work, he's got those long arms, he's taller, the height and reach, and good movement there, but he's just got to be careful. He's throwing the punches at least. He fancies it. Is he anywhere near good enough?
I mean, there's nothing on paper to suggest he is, and you certainly wouldn't think so, but he's doing okay so far. But it's typical Arthur Abraham. He's walking forward, gloves high, picking his moments, picking his punches, and, you know, as the clock, 30 seconds to go now, you'll see him probably step it up.
Very useful at roughing fighters up as well, Abraham. He can be boxing well, but all of a sudden things can turn around. Plenty of opponents have seen that happen before, Robert Stieglitz being one.
You do wonder though, Adam, I mean, how long is he going to go for? I mean, I don't expect Lihaug to beat him, but, you know, after all those hard fights he's had, oh, good right hand there by Abraham. Took it well though, Lihaug.
Yeah, good combination from Abraham, finding his range, but Lihaug still with him. It was a dream night this for Norway's Tim Robin Lihaug, but Arthur Abraham looking, well, as solid and as dependable as ever. Not a smiley type, is he?
No, definitely not. He's quite a sullen type of guy, isn't he?
Uli Wegner. The last instructions before he goes back to battle again. The black trunks of Arthur Abraham and the blue of the Norwegian Tim Robin Lihaug. No title at stake, and very rare for Arthur Abraham not to be in a world title fight countless times. Rare to see him without one, but that's how he finds himself. He is now the hunter, and it is a packed super middleweight division, as we know. So many new faces, a change of picture since that Super 6, that terrific tournament that saw Andre Ward come out on top, and Carl Froch and Abraham and Durrell and so many others give us plenty of value for money. Mikkel Kessler now has moved on, Froch is retired, but in has come James DeGale, Gilberto Ramirez, George and Callan back in the studio, of course. And we await and Zoe. Abraham wants to be back. Can he win one again?
Hard to say. I mean, I wouldn't have thought so, but you just never know. He's been such a good fighter on the world scene for so long, and like I say, his style's always been pretty basic but very, very effective. Just knows how to win. Sometimes just does enough. But you know, you look at his resume, look at his record, and it speaks for itself.
There's the big combinations, the meaty shots, but he doesn't flinch. Lihaug, he stayed very patient, good use of the jab, but is he just being lulled in? Full sense of security stuff with Abraham. You just never know. He's a surprising fighter because he'll cover up for a minute and then you'll have a burst, and he might do that halfway through a fight. 6, 7, 8 rounds, just suddenly come up with something.
Definitely, that's been his trademark his whole career. You know, he comes out, he takes his time. He never fights for 3 minutes of the round. He does a look, hands nice and high, walks you down, wants you to expend a lot of energy, and then he'll just have maybe 3 or 4 bursts around. Good jabs, good straight right hand. Really explosive.
Kind of close down the distance now. Really back up Lihaug for the first time, but he still continues to go about his work. He's been sparring with Luke Blackledge for this. Lihaug.
Missing wildly though, Adam, Arthur Abraham, and that takes a lot out of you. You know, requires a lot of energy. He's missing some big swings. You know, at this stage of his career and his life, you wonder what his stamina's like only 3 months ago. You know, this could get harder if it gets into the second half of the fight.
Yeah, big swinging miss there. 1 or 2 are getting through though. And an uppercut there, but he's solid here at the moment, Lihaug. But that's a big right hand to finish it, and he just is a little unsteady on the legs at the end of that one. There's the corner of Lihaug with Thomas Hansvold, who's 42 now. He fought for the WBA light heavyweight title against Bruno Girard in Paris in 2002, losing in a unanimous 12-round division. But it's not been a hotbed, as Ed said earlier. back in studio from Norway. A few champions, a couple of world champions. Pete Sandstall won it, and they have held the WBO cruiserweight title. Michael Spinks had a challenger, and Stefan Tanstack as well. And we remember Ole Clementson, who was very good. He had that fight with Crawford Ashley. Clementson was around the European to world light heavyweight picture. What of Tim Robin Lihaug? Can he pull off what would be an almighty shot here against the veteran, former long-time two-weight champion of the world, Arthur Abraham? Good right hand from Abraham, who's just finding his range, wasn't he? Back end of the fourth. And those right hands, he's got to be careful, Lihaug.
Yeah, Abraham always starts slowly and then starts picking up after about 4 rounds, and be interesting now to see if that's what happens here.
Any signs of decline for you after the Ramirez fight?
It's difficult to say because, I mean, even in this fight, you know, it's only 3 months ago that he fought Ramirez, but I mean, he's looked on decline for a while. But then, after that loss with Ramirez, you would have thought he'll probably retire now. But 3 months later, he's here fighting again. So I'm not so sure. I'm not sure we'll find out tonight, because I don't think this guy from Norway is good enough. Ooh, good right hand by Abraham.
Yeah, big shots now coming in. It's a question of whether Lihaug can take this. That's the open defensive frailties
Legs
coming
here,
back to haunt him. Right hands. He's tottering all over the ring here, and Abraham knows it, and there's so much time left in the round. Biting down on the gum shield, trying to stay with him, Lihaug, but this is where he doesn't know enough. And Abraham is on the verge here of taking out this brave Norwegian.
Missing wildly though at times. He'll be careful, he'll be cautious not to go for it and not get it, because he puts a lot into trying to finish him and doesn't. He'll be conscious of blowing up. He's just steadying down here, back behind the jab now, Abraham.
To want to survive that onslaught. Yeah, other fighters have crumbled under that sort of attack. He's done okay, but he's being hit. He tries to come back with his own combination. Gulper there from Abraham. We've seen that before. And Lihaug, what he's done ever so well to stay in this 5th round with these big punches coming in.
Yeah, but he's still there, Adam. Lihaug is still there. Now Abraham backing up, probably needs a breather.
I think he thought he was just going to fall apart there. It looked as though he could, but he's stayed with him. He's obviously in terrific shape, Lihaug, and all credit to the Norwegian.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he did well there. He hung in. He definitely got buzzed, got rocked a couple of times, but he come through it, tucked up, weathered the storm, come back with his own punches. It'll be interesting now to see what Abraham does in this round. I expect him to come out back behind the jab. I don't think he'll look for the finish, because he's a master at pacing the 12 rounds, and I expect him to get back on the jab here now for a while.
That's when it looked like he might go.
Yeah, the legs betrayed him there, they were gone. I thought he was close to stopping him.
Well, he was stopped in a multi-nations in Estonia before, and as a pro he was drilled to a 3rd round knockout defeat in his 4th fight by the Swede Oscar Arlin. He was down from a left hook to the body in the 2nd, and then he was again unhinged by uppercuts. So the chin has let him down before, but he stood up there to Abraham. Can that come through fitness and training, and just, you know, your confidence as well, and the way you ride punches?
Without a doubt. I mean, the fitness will be a key part. Strengthen your legs. You get hit with a shot in the chin and your legs go. The fitter you are, the quicker you recover. It's as simple as that. And usually the stronger your legs are, the better you'll hold a shot anyway. But, you know, I think that the fact that he did get buzzed and he's still there, it could do his confidence a lot of good. It just depends how this round goes now. If he has a good round here, it'll really bring his confidence back. If he has another bad round, then the belief will leave him.
Just looking outside the ropes, talking to someone there, Abraham, at ringside. Lihaug still applying the pressure. His volume, his work rate's been good here. And I tell you what I do like, his concentration.
Yeah, well, when you're in with such a big puncher like Arthur Abraham, concentration is essential. You switch off for a minute and that's it. The fight could be over.
Aiming for the body, such a hard part of Abraham to hit. With those huge arms that dig in. And at 6'2", he's tall. Lihaug, and open for that right. Just can't quite yet pull the trigger to detonate a massive shot. Abraham. He's threatening though, and he's catching him.
Yeah, and he's getting closer and closer, bit by bit.
And you wonder if Lihaug can hurt Abraham in any way, having never fought anywhere near this level. He's got 8 knockouts, but they're opponents you'll never have heard of. And Abraham inching closer and closer. And this is where the strength starts to come in, isn't it?
Yeah, he's really strong, Abraham. He's like a bear, and really explosive too. Working the jab well in this round.
Well, he can be very proud already, Lihaug, of his performance. He stepped up, way up in levels.
There's that piston-like jab again, Adam. He really bangs that jab in, Abraham does. It's not just it's not a rangefinder. It's not even a point scorer. It's a weapon.
And again, a combination there, just getting through. You're asking how he'd do in this round. I think it's been a tough one for Lihaug.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he'd have come out and could have got back on, you know, really got into the fight or had a good round, he would have done his confidence a lot good. But I think he's starting to feel now that maybe it's not his night. Yeah.
Gritty and determined, Lihaug, and trying everything he knows. But Abraham having the answers so far.
Bam, bam, 100%ig. Die linke kommt gut, so machst du weiter. Immer wieder die linke. Und nur plötzlich kommt der linke Haken und der rechte gerade. Abgemacht. Ja? Gut. Komm. Hörst du? Ja? Komm. Der Schäfer steht das nicht. Du ziehst den auf und triffst ganz klar mit der rechten gerade.
Lihaug showed a lot of grit in that round. He hit some big shots. He only got hurt badly in the round before, but he's staying in there. He's trying his best, he's coming back, but Abraham is just a master at that pace in the rounds, and knowing when to rest and knowing when to fight.
Well, he's done well here, Tim Robin, Lihaug, to make the second half of this 12-round, 12-stone fight against the former king, Arthur Abraham. But Abraham is growing in confidence. He had a good look at the start. He's definitely hurt Lihaug, but the Norwegian hasn't stopped working behind that jab and doing everything that he's promised us he would, try to derail Abraham and send the older man, the much older man, into retirement. But it's easier said than done. No one has an easy night against Arthur Abraham unless you are top draw. And we're talking Ward, Froch, Ramirez.
Yeah, they're the only guys that have really ever dominated Abraham. Anyone else, he's just a nightmare to fight. He's like I say, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but he is like a bear. You know, he has those big forearms. It's like he crouches down. It's like he can block the whole body and his head at the same time.
He's marking up on the left eye. That jab is getting through much more. Lihaug again unsteady on his legs. And I just wonder if his corner are going to begin to have a little look at this. He's getting out-punched, and a right hand there was bang on the chin, and again from Abraham. Referee taking a slightly closer look. It is becoming more and more one-sided. And he's trying so hard to stay with him, Lihaug. But this has got to have an effect.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of grit here, Lihaug. Abraham banging some clean shots in there. He took them well, and credit to Lihaug. He's come back and he's walking forward now, letting his own punches go.
But he just can't get through that tight defence. and you wait for the next Abraham burst.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and in between he lands a crisp jab, you know, and then he goes for a little walk, has a breather, gets a rest, isn't taking anything clean, and you know, 40 seconds left in the round. There's probably another burst in it for Abraham.
Still pushing the jab out, Lihaug, not pouring with it as much as we've seen him before. He's tried to use it as a solid base here. But that's good from Abraham with the accuracy, and as Matthew says, right on cue. Here comes the big drive towards the back end of the round, the clock in his head, knowing exactly how to measure 12-round fights. And the question is, will he be able to get his man out of there before 36 minutes are up?
Two big right hands there just before the bell as well, Adam.
It's got to be mentally so tough, this, for Lihaug now. He's not winning the rounds, Matthew, is he? And he is just on the end of some savage blows.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, early on in the fight, he was losing the rounds, but he wasn't taking that much clean, where now he's starting to ship some heavy right hands.
It's just a despondent, almost a realism now about the level he's at.
Yeah, he doesn't have the body language of a guy that now believes he can win the fight. Early on, he would have come out with aspirations, with belief. That seems to be knocked out of him now, as the last couple of rounds in particular. Abraham's gone through the gears, and he's definitely knocked the belief out of him. To me now, he looks like he's almost in survival mode in there.
Still the deep breathing of Arthur Abraham. And you sort of saw that against Martin Murray and your friend Paul Smith, of course, and you thought, oh, they're on the verge of taking him out, and it just doesn't happen.
No, well, especially the first time with Paul, I thought he was definitely going to do it. It was such a, you know, it could have gone either way. It was a close fight, but you know, the second time he upped his game, didn't he? Because I actually thought Paul was even better in the rematch, but you know, in fairness, Abraham showed the champion he was.
You see the punches thrown. The quality is with Arthur Abraham, as you'd expect. I mean, a massive favourite before the fight began, and you have to credit Lihaug with his boxing ability for times, and now his stubborn resistance. But is it just a matter of time? He can't keep taking shots like this.
No, I don't think so. And it's almost like Abraham smells the blood. Oh, great right hand there again, heavy.
That's hurt him. Down he goes, Lihaug. It was an accumulated combination from Abraham and Lihaug, who looked despondent when he came out of the corner at the beginning of the 8th round. Looks as though there's very little left. Abraham smelling blood, going for the knockout finish. Lihaug brave, referee about to step in. Tow's gone in from the Norwegian corner. It is over from Tim Robin Lihaug, who is stopped. What a brave effort, but he wasn't nearly good enough. And the truth is that Arthur Abraham still has something at 36. It's his 45th win, his 30 by knockout in this extraordinary career. You think he's on the slide, you think he's on the way out, and he just comes back with something, and you never know. Could he be a world champion all over again?
Like you say, Adam, you just can't write him off, can you? He's got that power, that freakish power. He's got that defence. He's got that style where he just knows how to win. And I was glad to see the towel come in. It's good to see the compassion from the corner.
Big hug from Calais Sauerland there for Tim Robin Lihaug, who was a huge underdog beforehand, and he did the best he could, and he's got nothing to be ashamed of. It was a really, really gritty and determined performance. But Arthur Abraham has proved, after that terrible defeat in America against the excellent addition to the scene in Gilberto Ramirez, who proved his class that night, that Abraham still, and certainly in Germany, Matthew, this is his stage, this is his arena, and this is where he could become a world holder again.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when the situation with Felix Sturm is cleared up, I mean, Felix Sturm's had a similar career to Arthur Abraham in 12 rounds, God knows how many times, you know, had a lot of hard fights. You know, he's a world champion. He's now in the same weight division. They're two absolute household names in Germany. They're mainstream. You know, when they fight, they're on billboards. Everyone knows them. Massive viewing figures. And what a big money fight that would be.
And with the popularity that he's still got, respect here for his opponent as always. Yeah, the people love him, Arthur Abraham. And the Sauerlands have got the power to get him in, possibly with a winner of the main event here in Giovanni De Carolis and Tyron Zeuger. I mean, if Zeuger doesn't come through that, and you think they want to slip another German in against De Carolis.
Yeah, and also I don't think he needed to come back with a win after the Ramirez fight to see what he still had, to see what his desire was. But I don't think he needs too many stay busy fights. Fights now at this stage of Abraham's career, just unnecessary miles on the clock. He wants to be involved in big fights.
We don't get carried away. He was meant to win this and meant to win it emphatically. But it is job done. Uli Wegner believes he can become a world champion again, and he's one of the most experienced and knowledgeable coaches in world boxing. And his charge looks like he wants it again. He's back quickly after that defeat. He gets a stoppage victory. And you can't, as you said, write him off yet.
You can never write him off because he's got that freakish power. He hits like an absolute mule. Really, it's really deceiving because he's walking forward, quite lazy, hands high, banging out that piston-like jab, and then every now and then just explodes with that right hand, and it really is a finisher. You know, he lands clean and you're finished. It's as simple as that.
And this man, Lihaug, who may not be winning the rounds, but he certainly was competitive for a long way. But there was just a turning point. The last 4 or 5 minutes, wasn't there, where he was getting hit more clean. And I think when he went back to his corner and the body language had changed, and I think he knew. Well,
I think it was the 5th round when he had him really rocking and went for the finish, didn't quite get it. But you could see in the corner then, or I think it was after that round of the 6th, when the camera zoomed in and his coach was speaking to him, you could just see the despondent look on him. You could see that the belief had left him. And Abraham, you know, he smelt the blood, he smelt the finish.
And we got a smile there as well.
Yeah, and he's such a sullen character. You don't see too much of that, do you, out of him? But no, he's happy to be back with a win, and look, he has aspirations of going again and becoming a world champion again. And like I said, him and Felix Sturm is a huge fight. If Zeuger was to win tonight, that's a huge fight. Even if Zeuger wasn't to win, if the Sauerlands have options on the Carolis, that could be a huge fight again. I mean, he's such a big name in Germany, and he's had such a decorated career. And if he was to win another world title, what an achievement that would be.
Yep, it's been quite a journey, quite a story for King Arthur Abraham. And it's not quite over yet.
They look happy enough there in the corner, don't they?
They do. And he's got himself into terrific shape still at 36. Which of the Brits would like a go at him? We've had Martin Murray and Paul Smith. What about George Groves or Callum back in the studio? What do you think they'll be thinking?
I think both guys would beat Abraham at this stage of his career, definitely. I think George has got that real quick, good jab, good feet, quick jab. You know, he's very hard with the right hand.
Yeah.
Uppercuts, right hook, straight right hands. I think that would keep Abraham on keep him in his place.
And Callum with a bit of brother revenge.
And I think Callum would also get revenge for Paul. I just think, you know, it's the right time for them, wrong time for him. Hell of a career he's had, but he's on the slide and they're on the rise. But, you know, George has had some tough fights, but Callum certainly got all his best days ahead. But I think George, for me, George Groves would beat Arthur Abraham.
And De Gale, yes.
Yeah, and I definitely De Gale as well.
Yeah. But could Arthur Abraham beat the winner of De Carolis and Zeuger? That we wait and see for the main event, but it's for the WBA World Super Middleweight title, but we might have better fighters waiting in the wings than those two.
Yeah, definitely like De Carolis, and you know, he's I'd never really heard of much of him, and you know, he's unheralded really. But and the same with Zeuger. I know the Sauerlands have got big aspirations with him, but I haven't heard much of him.
They found a belt, I think, for Abraham because he feels a bit naked without one. I'm not sure what it is, some sort of intercontinental or maybe a stepping stone WBO title. Maybe it's his old one, but he's always got it on, so even though he lost last time out, they found one for him. Well done, Arthur Abraham.
Nach 1 Minute und 9 Sekunden in der 8. Runde. Sieger durch TKO und damit neuer internationaler Meister im Supermittelgewicht nach WBO. King Arthur Abraham.